never went to local farmers markets because I assumed they were exclusive and expensive. But after working at a market in Ann Arbor, Michigan for a season, and now supporting my local market here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, I can assure you that they are not exclusive nor expensive, and rather crucial in combating poverty. Today I hope to convince you to support and shop at your local farmers market by explaining to you how access to fresh produce is crucial in combating poverty, and give you examples of how different farmers markets are finding solutions to this accessibility issue. Millions of Americans live in poverty, and a major factor of poverty is food insecurity, meaning that there's not good access to food. You can't afford it, you can't reach the places that are selling it. In the US Census this year, they reported in 2020 that the poverty rate rose to 11.4%, which translates to 37.2 million people in the United States living at or below the poverty line. And so if food insecurity is a direct contributor to poverty, what is a direct contributor to food insecurity? And that's a food desert. The USDA defines a food desert as a region featuring large proportions of low-income households with inadequate access to transportation and a limited number of food retailers that provide affordable fresh produce and nutritious groceries. So food deserts are a direct contributor to food insecurity. The USDA also reported in their most recent food access report published in 2017 that 40 million of the US population is living in a food desert. So what can a farmer's market do about this huge issue of poverty that entails food insecurity and food deserts? Well, the two main organizations that I want to look at today and share with you are the Double Up Bucks program and the From Farm to Food Bank program. This first program, Double Up Bucks, is a nonprofit organization that's now active in over 25 states. And what it does, it doubles the EBT credit that's spent on fresh produce. Meaning, if I go to the farmer's market here in Albuquerque, which is registered with Double Up Bucks, I can use my EBT card to pay $10 for fresh produce, and they in turn give me 20 tokens, $20 worth of tokens to use at the market for produce. So it doubles my investment that's spent on fresh produce. Farmers markets are the main participants in this nonprofit organization, but there are also grocery stores that take place in this, such as the co-ops here in New Mexico, and I encourage you to get on the website doubleupbucks.org to see if your state is a participant and see which farmers markets and grocery stores contribute to this cause. The second organization isn't necessarily a national organization, but states all over the country have taken on to this system of From Farm to Food Banks. This was a system that existed before the COVID pandemic, but once things shut down in the United States, farmers lost their main vendors of restaurants and schools. And so suddenly they had this plethora of fresh produce that they couldn't sell, desperately hurting their business. And food banks saw an increase in customers of people in need of food and didn't have the adequate supply anymore. So different organizations started raising money to purchase the food from the farmers and donate it to the food banks. And different organizations, like I said, all over the country have participated in this program. There's a really cool one that's happening in New York City where they've raised thousands of dollars for the farmers and the food banks. And there's even a system like that here in New Mexico. So once again, I encourage you to look into what your state is doing from farm to food bank. But how can you support your local market? Well, you can volunteer at the market, you can shop at the market, and you can tell other people to go and support them as well. If you support your local farmers market, you can help support local farmers. That also supports your local economy. You can also find out if your farmers market is a participant in the organizations I just mentioned. You might be able to benefit from these organizations. And if anything, you can help support your market, help support people in need of fresh produce. Most markets that aren't involved from the farm to food bank system at least donate their leftover produce at the end of the day to local markets and homeless shelters. So if you get involved with your local market, you can find out what they're doing to promote the health of your community. If you don't get involved and support your local market, your money will continue to go to large corporations that don't support the local economy and don't necessarily have an interest in getting healthy, nutritious food to the people who are in need. There are many problems in this world, huge problems that are so daunting, like poverty, and it's difficult to know what we as individuals can do about it. But these big problems, the best solution begins with getting involved with your local community. So how can you get involved? You should research the farmers markets in your area. You should go, ask questions, get to know the people there, see what systems they have in place to support the health of the community, the economy of the local community. See if they're donating produce and see how you can help. Eat the food, try it, taste the difference in a fresh tomato or blueberry that's grown in your region. You will see that there is a difference in quality of food, and you will get to know the people who are stewards for the land and still have invaluable information of how to grow the food that we need. And these farmers and these markets are ensuring that this fresh produce can also get to everyone, especially the people who don't necessarily have access readily. Thank you.